Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Rav King back again with you with another anatomy video. In our last anatomy video, we got to talk about the SCM muscle, and if you're having headaches or neck pain in general, you should be asking your massage therapist about this muscle. Last time, though, we had also briefly talked about another set of muscles that I wanted to cover, and how your hand pain or weakness might not be coming from your hands at all. So let's get into it. The scalene muscles, right? We've got our scalene anterior, posterior, in between these two, you guessed it, scalene middles, right? So we've got three sets of scalene muscles here that all relatively do the same thing. So I'm going to talk about them as kind of one group, and their attachments are all relatively the same as well. So forgive me for being broad with this today, but let's make this short, let's make this sweet. So with these scalene muscles here, why they're important is because they're constantly in a short position, and it's the function that can start to wreak havoc on the body. So what they do is they flex the cervical spine, meaning much like the SCM muscle here, they're going to bring the head forward. So if you have a job where you're at the computer a lot, driving a lot, your head's in a forward position, these muscles can be in a short position. Now let's look at these attachments right here. The posterior is going to come down to the second rib here, and the middle and anterior are going to come down to the first rib. Now, why that's so important is when we start to bring other structures into the mix. So what I'm going to do is bring up our nervous system, and we're going to bring up some blood flow, the arteries as well. Just for the sake of it not looking too chaotic, I'm going to leave the veins out, but they're also part of the cardiovascular system. So if we take a look right here, we can see at some point that this big bundle of nerves and arteries, also called your brachial plexus, has to travel under the clavicle right here and on top of the ribs. And you can already see it, right? If your scalenes here are constantly in a short position, then that means that they're going to be elevating the ribs here, that they're going to be bringing them up. Now, this happens a lot of the time if you're a chest breather, right? Or if you're in that rounded shoulder position and your head's forward. That puts it in a great position for these ribs to rise up. And what can happen is we start to pinch down on this portion of the brachial plexus. So you're not getting the proper blood flow down to your arms. You're also not getting the proper signal. You're not getting the electrical system to properly function going down because it's impinged. I'm sure we've heard this word before, impingement. It's no bueno. We don't like it. It's not good for the body. So that's one reason why the scalenes are a big deal and why your hand pain might not be coming from your hands, or hand weakness rather. But let's keep moving down this chain. We'll come back to the scalenes here. Here's another portion right here, right under the pec minor muscle. Pec minor, he's an easy muscle to find. He's just deep to your pec major muscle. So if I bring up the muscles here, you've got this big chest muscle on top, and just right under it, you're going to have the pec minor muscle. Now, this muscle is really good at rounding the shoulders out. So again, as you're sitting at the computer, as you're driving, and you don't have those nice broad shoulders, that nice flat chest, good posture, when you have the opposite of that, when you have those rounded shoulders and that hunched back, this is a big contributor to it right here. And as you can see, we've got part of that brachial plexus traveling right under it. So just in this small span here, we have a whole lot of areas that can really start to wreak havoc on the strength and sensitivity of your hands. Let's go ahead and move down the chain here a little bit. So another portion that can start to really give you the symptoms of carpal tunnel and make you feel like you need surgery in your wrist, or you need some kind of work in your wrist, might just be just short of the wrist actually. If you feel down your arm to the inside of your arm and you feel that bump on the inside of your elbow, that's your medial epicondyle. And this is where we have a lot of the flexor muscles attaching to. Now, as all these nerves and blood vessels pass through this area, your tight forearms can contribute to the pain that's in your hands, that's in your wrist. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have anything wrong with the physical carpal tunnel, but you may have three major impingement areas that are contributing to it. Now, of course, hand surgeries have come a really long way, and the diagnosis for them are a lot better. But these are three areas that you might want to check out with your massage therapist before you talk surgery. So Another way, though, let's come back to the scalenes, that the scalenes can contribute to your hand pain is the trigger points. Every muscle can develop trigger points, and what's so awful about these trigger points is they send pain to other places. So we start getting knots in these areas, right? And I'm sure you can reach up just above your collarbone right here, and you can feel some knots, some really ropey stuff, and you might even hit an area that makes your chest here zing with pain, right? Because it will come down to the chest, but what it'll also do is it'll follow the arm down into the forearm here as well, even in some cases down to the thumb. But with any trigger point, here's even the bigger problem with it, they can cause other trigger points. So I could have a knot up here that sends a signal down to the flexor muscles in the forearm that causes another trigger point. And you can guess it, that can travel down the arm as well. So you can have this big locked up chain. On top of all that, these scalene muscles here will also lead pain into the inside of the shoulder blade as well. So if you constantly feel like you have tension through here and knots through here, no matter what you do, you can't get rid of them, that signal might not be coming from this area, it might be coming from the anterior neck. So just another thing for you to check out with your massage therapist. I hope this wasn't too overwhelming for anyone, and if you have any requests that you would like to see with these videos, maybe you want me to chit-chat about something, let me know. You can go ahead and email us, or heck, even just give us a call. I'm looking forward to hearing from everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the schedule, and well, hey, you have a wonderful day.